Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Defy the Odds, the podcast where you are becoming the richest person you know. This week, we're talking all about messaging. Today, I'm going to be sharing the 4 types of content that you should be creating, especially if you are growing and building your business on Instagram. And then we are going to have a bonus episode as well coming out that is all about the 5 mistakes that you're most likely making in your messaging and how to clean that up. So stay tuned for that. So messaging has become one of my biggest passions over the past few months. And this is why. Your messaging, the subjects you're talking about, the way that you're talking about it, the words that you're using, the energy behind it, it's either making you money in your business or it's not. It's either making you sales or it's making you leave money on the table. It is either attracting in your ideal client or it's repelling people away. And the truth is, we actually want it to do both. When you have really good, really clear, really activating messaging, it is going to repel people. And we want that to happen because you are not here to work with everyone. You are here to work with your most aligned, empowered clients. The other thing about your messaging is that it can position you as a friend, get you stuck in that friend zone, or your messaging can position you as your ideal client's next mentor. This is why messaging is key. And so before we even get into the types of content to be creating with your messaging, we need to know 2 things. The first thing we need to know is what is the outcome you offer your people? What is your highest deliverable outcome? What is it that your most ideal client wants? That soulmate person where you're like, oh my God, I would love to work with that person. And I know that I could help them do X, Y, and Z. What is that thing? For me, it's I can help you go from 8 to 10K months to 20K months in your business. I know I can help you do that. That is the highest deliverable outcome I can help you achieve. Next, we want to make sure that it's something this person actually wants, right? That it's not just, I'm going to help you grow your business. You have to be specific in what that outcome is. And we have to make sure that it sounds attractive and sexy to your ideal client, that it's something they actually want to buy. The second thing we need to know is your framework or your process. How do you help them achieve that outcome? How do you help them get that result? What is your process? In my world, it's by creating a high ticket offer if you don't have one. It's about cleaning up your messaging. It's about dialing up your power. It's about elevating your identity and your leadership. And it is about being consistent and showing up with potency every single day. And if we do that, I can guarantee you, you will have 20K months in your business. So what is your outcome and what is your framework or process? We need to know those 2 things before we can even start creating your content. Once we have that locked down, we need to be creating content consistently. And when I say consistently, I mean at least 5 days a week. 1 post a day, 1 post, 1 reel, something on your feed every day. And each piece of content needs to come back to that highest deliverable outcome, the result that you offer, or your framework or your process, how you help people get that outcome. Okay. So that's the first thing. Go look at your Instagram right now. Look at your most recent 9 posts. Is it clear what outcome you deliver for your people? Is it clear what result you can help them achieve? Is it clear how you do this? Would your most aligned, empowered, ideal soulmate client see your feed and be like, oh my gosh, she can help me get exactly what I want. She's the person I want to hire. Or is your feed all over the place? Is it not obvious what you do or how you can help people, right? Right away, you should be having some aha moments. So here are 4 types of content you can be creating. Number 1, storytelling content. Storytelling is huge. What kind of stories? Stories about your experience, stories about your mistakes that you've made along your journey, stories about your growth, how you actually live your work, how you are embodied in it. Tell us this process you took to create these results for yourself. Give us the real, raw behind the scenes of your transformation. And yes, I want you to be real and raw and vulnerable and honest and true, but you are still the expert here. You are still the leader. We don't want to friend zone you. We don't want to make you look like a hot mess. But it's like, look, here are the 5 mistakes that I've made, and I'm going to tell them to you so that you don't have to make them. Right? Or here's the story of when I hit rock bottom, and this is how I came back from it. That is empowering. That is inspiring. That is showing that you are a leader, showing that you've been through this process, that you have knowledge and experience that you could help someone with. So start thinking of some of those stories that you can be telling. And this is also why it's so important for you to be living your work every single day, for you to be doing this work behind the scenes, because then you're never going to run out of stories to tell. The second type of content, client wins. This is sort of like testimonials, but it's more about your client transformations. It's more about the work that you're currently doing. I'm going to pull up my Instagram right now and give you some examples of how I do this. Okay. Here's a storytelling example. How I called in 50 new people into my world, tripled my monthly recurring income, and signed a 6-month private client all in 30 days. Okay. Here's another example. The top 5 mistakes that kept me from making consistent 10K months in my coaching business. Now, client wins. Let me scroll down and find one. This shows me I should be posting more client wins. Here's one. Oh, no, this is not a client win, but here's an example of, it's like the opposite of a client win. It's something my client told me that is not true, and how I shifted her mindset around that. So my client told me she thinks it will take her 6 months to start making 10K months in her coaching business. This is why I call BS. Here's a client win. How my one-on-one client went from $0 to 8K months in 2 months. Okay. So what wins are your clients having? How can you share those? This is social proof for your people, but it's also positioning you as an expert, someone who knows what they're doing, who can actually help people. So that's another type of content. The third one, educational posts. Now, I think educational posts are super valuable, but we have to be careful here. We don't want to box you in as a teacher, because when you have a lot of content where you're teaching, you're going to attract a lot of people who want to learn, which means they're not necessarily taking action, they're just consuming. So there's a fine line here. But educational posts could be answering questions that you get from people in your DMs, questions that your clients are asking you. This could be you breaking down the pillars of your offer, right? This goes back to your framework or your process that you take people through. How can you teach them a snippet of what's inside of your program? What do people need to know before they come into your world? Teach them this. Give them those small wins, that give them those breakthroughs, give them something that they can go implement today and actually see growth or progress from. In our educational posts, we can think of it as problem awareness content. Like, do your people actually know they have a problem? Maybe they don't know they're making this mistake. Maybe they don't know that they're doing it wrong. Maybe they don't know that they have this blind spot. Can you point that out to them in your content? The other piece of it is problem solving content. So are you solving this problem they already know that they have, right? Maybe they know they need to grow their audience, but they don't know how to do it. Maybe they know they need to lose weight, but they don't know how to do it. So there's showing them they have a problem. That's one type of educational content. And then the other one is solving the problem they already know that they have. And the final type of content you can be creating, I call this bold claims. Taking a stand. What do you believe? What's something that you believe to be true, but not everyone does? What's something you see people doing wrong in the industry? This is the repelling content. This is content that is meant to turn certain people away. It's meant to be divisive, and it's also going to call in your most ideal client because they're going to be like, oh my God, yes, I've been waiting for somebody to say that. Or, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. Right. And it triggers them to either want to come closer into your world, which will likely look like hiring you, or it triggers them and saying, she's not the right person for me. I'm going to head out the door. And either one of those is perfect, right? The bolder you can be, the more strong of a stance you can take on these issues, the more it's going to be, you're going to strengthen your magnetism, right? You're going to be shining your light brighter. So the ideal clients are going to come in, and the ones who are not your ideal clients, who we don't actually want you to work with, if they're not on the same page with you, they're going to leave. So hopefully this gave you some ideas of content you can be creating, and you just cycle through these, right? Maybe you do a couple storytelling posts a week. You post a client when you do a problem awareness post, you make a bold claim, and then you go back through the cycle. And if you use this, you should never run out of content ideas. But I want to circle back and remind you, every piece of content that you create needs to speak to the result that you offer, the thing your client wants, the highest deliverable outcome, or and the framework or process you take them through, so that they know, oh, she can help me get this result, and here's exactly how she's going to do it. Great, I want to hire her. Okay, so go implement this today. Sit down for 20 minutes and come up with some content ideas based on what you learned in this podcast episode. Start creating that content. And then the bonus episode's going to drop very soon, where I'm going to tell you some of the biggest mistakes that I see and how you can clean those up. And that's going to be such a game changer for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, share it on Instagram, tag me at Ashley Wilhite Coaching. I love when you all do that. I also love when you send me DMs letting me know that this podcast is landing for you, that you love listening to it. It makes my day. I appreciate you so, so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.